and social media, help us generate more leads and grow your business. Turn it over to her and make this as interactive as possible, guys. Ask a lot of questions because that's what you don't give any opportunities to ask questions of an industry expert like this, so please do so.
Good morning, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. This is going to be a fantastic morning, but we are going to fly through a tremendous amount of information. I gave you warning last night. Yes? We're going to fly through a tremendous amount of information in a very short time. This is the deal. Everything is changing from a technology and communication standpoint. Do you notice? How many of you have kids? Any 13 and unders? See the toddler with an iPhone? Not yet? If you haven't, I have seen an 18-month-old stand in front of a television, literally looking at the TV. They have a TV program on, all of a sudden a commercial comes on, and they start swiping the crap out of the TV show, trying to get the commercial off the screen. Absolutely just frustrated and irritated that they can't swipe the commercial off the television screen. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit today about how to leverage technology to convert time to cash, and really this is about the relationship. Go ahead. This is about the relationship between technology and people, because it's absolutely changing where we go to do research, where we go to communicate, and so forth. We have a lot of slides, so we're going to fly through this very fast. We can do that. I have a friend that I'm going to introduce you to first. A business partner of mine, his name's Casey Everhart, and a client of ours, which they do spot pulling. So actually, before that even plays, let me tell you a story. Last month when I came out here, 2 days before I came out here to speak to you guys, my air conditioning went out in my house. I think God tries to teach you interesting lessons real quick. So the second it goes out, my son comes in, he's like, Mom, this is ridiculous, my room is so hot. He goes on Google, finds a couple contractors, sends out a note on whatever social site he was on that day and asks for some references. He brings me back 3, I was like, all right, fine, hook it up. So my son's 14, so he calls all 3, sets an appointment, has all 3 of them come in, and next thing I know, I'm presented with 3 different bids that don't say the same thing as broken, don't tell me the same resolution, and have 3 totally different prices. As a single female, I'm having a heart attack, so I stopped all 3 of those meetings, literally called my client who sells portable air conditioners, and for a month I've had 3 like R2D2 looking units in my upstairs. So I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I am saying I did start Googling and asking questions. Why would I get 3 different bids? Why would the bids be so different? How come there would be 3 different issues and 3 different total solutions for that? Very limited information comes out. Very limited information, especially in my local area from someone that I can get more. So I wanted to introduce you to Casey, my business partner, and the owner of Scott.
A good friend of ours, Scott Burnside from Spot Cooling. So Scott, welcome. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Casey. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, Scott, I know that you've worked with us and Jennifer Bagley on your website and technology, and so tonight I just wanted to ask you just a couple of quick questions, if I can, just about kind of your overall experience. So, let's kind of start at the beginning. Before you got started with Jennifer, where was your technology?
Our technology was, not very good. We had email. We did have a website, but, we couldn't tell. Our results, we had the website because we're supposed to have a website, but, there was no way to tell anything if we were making any money off it whatsoever. We had no idea.
And, I know most businesses, when they are about ready to make a change and change in technology, there's a lot of fear based around that. Do you remember what your fears were that almost prevented you from moving forward?
It's the fear of how do I get all this stuff done? Jen gives you a list of stuff that you need to have. It's, how am I going to have time to do any of this? And then you look at the cost, and no matter what somebody throws at you, it's always more than you think you want to pay. And it's like, how am I going to afford that? There's just so many things you can look at and just throw the idea out just on one of those. But,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What was it that helped you get over that fear? And now, what role do you play in the technology of the company?
Well, the main thing that helped me get over the fear was just Jen's involvement and her tenacity and her just her ability to communicate how the technology would help my company. And now we use the technology to full advantage. I can look on my website, you can look on my website and you can see the blog posts, and I can actually measure exactly how many people are filling out the quote forms and put a dollar amount to it.
So I know this kind of leads in, this is kind of leading you a little bit, but somebody that's one of your peers in the same profession, what would you say to help them get over the fear?
I would say that, you just have to jump in and start using the technology, because if you don't, if you're not using the technology yet, you're already, light years behind. If you're using the technology today, it's ever changing. You have to keep up, and you shouldn't have a fear of the technology. You need to use it and harness it to make it, use it to your advantage so that you can make more money. And it works.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of my next question is, where are you now, and what kind of results are you getting now that you weren't getting before you started utilizing technology?
Well, I can definitively tell you that since I put in, some of the different features of the technology that you guys offer and some of your partners, I can look in my system and I can definitively say that I've received over $300,000 in quotes since March 1st. And at the same time, I've gotten over $90,000 of that business in my pocket. So I look back on it and think, wow, that's a lot of money every month I have to spend on my website. But now I can look at it and say, well, that's nothing. It's making me money, hand over fist. And that's just the money that I can determine, that is coming through the website. That doesn't count all the leads that I get, because in my business, people are hot and they need to be cooled down, and a lot of times they'll just pick up the phone and call me, and I'll get the business, and there's not really any way for me to quantify that and say that was just because of the website or a referral from somebody else or where I got that business. But, it's really been great.
I was just going to say, so you're pleased with the overall result?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't have a better system. And if you work with Jen with any amount, over any period of time, she's always jumping on the next thing that's coming, the next feature that's coming on, she's up there integrating into your website, and you don't have to do anything.
Well, I appreciate that. And so, Scott, let me ask you one final question. What advice would you give somebody that's in your particular industry? I know your industry is kind of that old school, like put the boots on and go install and help customers. What advice would you give them? Give somebody that knows they need to change, but they're still on that. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know how to start. What would you tell them?
First thing I tell them is call Jen, But you have to find somebody that you trust, somebody that will work with you and be your partner, and somebody that will get you into technology that's ever changing. And you want a company like CI Web Group that stays there and they're with you for the long term. And when the technology changes, they change with the technology as soon as it changes, not 3 months from now when it's already outdated and the next new thing's coming in.
Awesome. Well, Scott, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. I know Jen appreciates it, and potential peers of yours appreciate it.
So that's the first time I saw that. Definitely looks like slightly self-pitch or I paid them, however. It's good stuff. I wanted you to show, because I remember sitting down with him, and literally the first time I sat down with him, everything was an excuse. I don't have enough time, I don't have enough bandwidth, and we can get this slide. I don't have enough bandwidth, and I'm not sure how to use the technology, and that was a really big deal. What do you guys think the number one excuse is that's going to prevent you from utilizing the right technology? And it's just an excuse. Not enough time. Actually, it's not enough time, actually, from my experience, is more, because it's really not that expensive to perform well on the internet anymore. In fact, it's a lot less expensive than some of the other things. There's 4 primary areas that everyone has to consider. And you guys, if you've got a piece of paper in front of you, you can keep these. We're going to do an evaluation. So go ahead and take notes on the back of that or on the side. 4 things. 1, do you have the right technology? That is absolutely critical. We're going to talk about websites, what the right technology is, what to avoid, and so forth. Secondly, do you have the right strategy? This is about doing the right things at the right time in the right order. Challenge is, you guys are probably hit by a million salespeople trying to teach you everything or trying to get you to buy everything, and I understand that. So we're going to help put things in order today. Next, do you have the right network? Who are you connected to digitally? Where is your network? Do you only have a customer database that's sitting inside QuickBooks with limited information? Anyone in that position? I see heads nod. I already know. So during the last event, I had 147 people that filled out a form that asked for a consultation. So I spoke to 60 people in your industry at length, so I'm very, very familiar with some of these challenges. 1, all your data sitting in one location. 2, you have limited data, didn't start collecting email addresses. How many of you avidly collect email addresses? Okay, better. How about phone numbers? How many communicate via text with your clients? Through push notifications on a mobile app. So a little manual. All right, fantastic. The last one is behavior. I can take 2 of the exact same businesses, same industry, same product, same service, same marketplace, same price point. One performs here and one performs here. Why is that? Why would one perform here? Mathematically, they should perform the same, yes? They have the same technology, they're doing the exact same thing. What is it? Absolutely. It's just the people. It is absolutely the people. And I see it day in and day out in almost every industry. So we're not going to blow through this only talking about technology. We are absolutely going to talk about what is your relationship with the technology. Are you going to get involved? Do you want to outsource? You cannot outsource 100% of your marketing efforts. Most of it you can. You can either automate it through having the right technology, or you can outsource some of it. However, you've got to get involved, especially how many of you are new? Anyone? 2 years in the business or less? Fantastic. But how many of you feel like you have it absolutely going on digitally as far as growing your business? Yes? Fantastic. I need both your cards because I'm going to go look. Oh, so see how that goes? I don't have a card. Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay, 2 excuses. Yes. The question was how many of you feel like you absolutely have it going on, and that's my phrasing because I have a 15-year-old, digitally as far as building your business? You got it? I love that. And you have it. Oh, I was like, there's no way you have a 3-digit domain name. That's impossible. This is someone, that's fake card. I'm just kidding. I know what company that is. Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to take a look at that. We may use you as an example later. All right, time, knowledge, and experience. Those are the biggest things. So we're gonna address that. All right, next, behavior, thoughts, actions. How many of you are scared of the technology now? Yeah, and it's cool, absolutely cool. Listen, you guys, I have a 15-year-old son who's obviously, I'm a single mom. I've got him, all his boys. And it makes me absolutely nervous as all get out that an entire population of people in a matter of 30 days can stop communicating on every device that I know and understand and move to a new one. Does that, I mean, that has to just weigh in heavily. A whole population of people, and it's fine that they're 14, 13, 12, whatever, through 17, they think Facebook is for old people. Email is for dead people. They believe, that has to make you nervous, right? My son has a database larger than this room that he can influence and persuade and he can negotiate with today. See, I got hot thinking about it. Okay, so that absolutely makes me nervous. They can literally move. Those kids, how many of you want to be in business 1,000 days from now? Okay, let's put this in perspective. My son is either going to be your competitor, right? Potential employee, employer, about that? Or a potential consumer. No matter what, 1,000 days from now, we have to be prepared for and prepped for the fact that they are going to be advising their parents on how to find services, on how to do research, on who to buy. No differently than him walking in with that iPad and saying, Mom, my room's freaking hot, you're killing me, I need you to call one of these guys. Fine, I'll do it. That is a real world. Okay, so we've got to go through that. All right. Okay, digital. How many of you guys are literally answering the same question day in and day out? Come on, your sales guy. Everybody raise your hand. You're in sales. You answer the same question every day in and day out, like Groundhog's Day, yes? Or you're not talking to anybody, and that's a whole different workshop. So we have to. That's a big deal. So is it that you don't have enough time, or is it that you're not using your time efficiently? Let me give you a case scenario. I came out here and took 4 days from my family, my dog and my cat and my son, to come be with you guys. The value to my business, if I spend 8 hours in this room, can equal only 8 hours, or I can put that camera in the back of the room, so you might as well say hi because it's totally staring at the back of your heads. Okay? Thank you. All right, or I can put that camera in the back of the room. I can digitize this hour into a video, drop it into YouTube, throw it up on a website, spin it out to all my social media sites. Now, what does this hour do for me next year? Is it more important? What happens to YouTube videos as far as people? Traffic. It grows. It grows. The longer the video's out there, the more time it's dispersed on your website as a blog, the more time it's automatic, and I'm going to say automatically shoved out to all your social media sites, the more traffic it's going to have. You better bet during this video at some point I'm going to tell them how to find me. My value is not just what happens in this room. My value is the fact that I'm digitizing a piece of content that will work for me forever. So if you're in a position where you're answering questions continuously, which I already know you are, stop for 1 second, write down the top 3 questions on one of your pieces of paper, and make a commitment to digitize the answer to those 3 questions. Just one thing. You know how much time that will do the math? If you answer that same question or those same 3 questions every single day, 4 times a day, times that by 365 years, how many hours could you get back? Just simply by saying, you know what, that's a great question. I've had a few clients ask, let me go ahead and send you over to a blog post. And it's got a quick little video that answers that question. Or better yet, that's for existing people you have to answer that question to. What if you have new people that are asking that question online like I was, and you actually met them where they were? People that didn't know your business, didn't know what your company name was, but when they went online and asked that question, you presented an answer to them. How much new business will that generate? Everything is about digitization, replication, and automation. Digitizing those things that you're having to repeat day in and day out. Does that make sense? Yes? Freaking out? Not yet? All right. Okay. All right, you guys. I want you to think as a consumer. Forget about your business. Forget about marketing. I want to think in the last 12 months, you were not an existing customer of this either product or service. However, you saw an advertisement on television, radio, a magazine, newspaper, billboard, or a brochure that drove you to pick up the phone and call somebody or to walk into their store. Last 12 months. Anyone? What did you buy?
I saw an ad in the Wall Street Journal for a product for front gate, for a hose that reels up.
Fantastic. All right. Anyone else? Any other?
Pushed me to, well, I look for things online.
No, not online. We're not on there yet.
But newspaper, Wall Street Journal.
Newspaper. So one purchase in 12 months? Yes. An appliance. Fantastic. From where?
The local appliance store.
Local appliance store. Fantastic. Yes. Anything else in 12 months?
Mattress.
A mattress. Fantastic. Anyone else? How many of you use any of the things on the left-hand side to market your business today? Okay, this is, sometimes we do things that are almost like an oxymoron, right? I have to tell you, I love the fact, my background, I was Vice President of Global Logistics and Supply Chain Strategy for multiple corporations. I'm very technical. So, nerd, trying to disguise it, shoes and stuff. However, so absolutely trying to practical, it's logical, it makes me money, or it doesn't. And I'm not going to, all the fancy charts and graphs and all that stuff, I'm not into. What I am into is what he said. Practical applications that produce a result. To me, the logic of me being able to stand up in front of a room, talk to thousands of people throughout the year and ask them, how do you personally buy? How do you shop? How do you research? How do you make purchases? And only 1% of every audience in the nation uses any of the tools on the left-hand side to make their buying decisions. But the fact that as business owners, we implement those tools continuously in order to market our business, knowing that the audience doesn't buy that way anymore, to me, we have to have a reality check. There has to be a reality check. So, you guys saw with Tony Jerry that hamster wheel spinning and spinning and spinning? That's what this happens. Just doing something to do something is not the right thing for your business. Now, how many of you in the last 12 months, and I'm going to have you look around, how many of you in the last 12 months have made a purchase A because of referral? Turn around and look. Someone referred you to a product, service, or a business? Okay, how many of you went online, done research, got in Google, and you found products or services? Turn around and look. If those are the only two ways that people do business, what should we do in our business? That's it. That's it. This is actually going to be the easiest class. It's going to sound complicated here in a little bit. However, it's going to be the easiest workshop today. People buy two ways. One via referral, two via the internet, and let's check this. They validate referrals on the internet before they make the call. So you cannot get away without doing both. Think about this. I referred you to call my friend Joe. Do you go Google them? Raise your hand if you go Google them first. Now look around. Keep your hands up and look around. How many of you, if you don't find them or are not sure which one is them or there's negative information, just don't make the call? Turn around and look. Okay, so I have a gentleman that says, that doesn't happen to me. My entire business is word of mouth business. I was like, I had to think, I didn't really think about that. So if I tell you to call him, you're waiting for the business, I referred you, you go look online, negative information, I can't tell which company is, you can't tell which company, there's no website, there's 10 people with the same O'Brien, you don't know who's who, or there's negative information online, do you have a place to call? Can you argue that you didn't get the business? It's very, very, very simple. So, the more that you already know, I'm going to talk to you afterwards. Okay, so, the more that you put your efforts into one area, do you believe you can get better results? You absolutely can. Think about it. If I have 10 trees, and I have one can of water, and I go water all 10 trees, what's going to happen with the trees? They're all going to grow slowly, right? But if I pick this one tree, and I'm pouring this thing, and I'm feeding this thing, and I'm doing this one thing, and I do it well, invest in something, make it make money, and do it again. Invest in something, make it make money, and do it again. Keep growing what works. Does that make sense? All right. All right, you guys, so go ahead and skip to the next one. Do the right things in the right order at the right time. Now, you guys have these sheets right here, 12-step roadmap. This essentially, in order, is a marketing plan for you. You leave with this marketing plan. Throughout each one of these slides, which my presentation is gonna follow this exactly. Step 1, Google Apps. Step 2, website, blog, and CMS. Stay on track with this, okay? As we go through each section, I'm gonna ask that you take just a second, and grade yourself as far as where you think you are. Scale 1 to 10. 10 being the best, 1 being not so much, okay? All right, first things first. Google is God. So I need you to have a relationship with him, okay? Google, Gmail, Google+, Google Drive, Google Calendar, YouTube, Google Hangout. You saw the video that was just presented? That was my client sitting in, it looked like in a dungeon. And that was my business partner who was in my living room. I can tell he's at my house. So that's Google Hangout, free. You can have up to 9 people on a Google Hangout. You can do videos all day long. If you get back from an appointment and somebody asks you that question and you think back to this moment when I said don't go another day answering the same question without digitizing it. You can literally open up a Google Hangout, click Start Broadcast, talk to the camera with yourself or with multiple people, As soon as you hit end broadcast, it automatically uploads into YouTube, automatically is there with an embed code. You can grab the embed code, drop it on your website, and if you have a big site, it'll automatically push it out to your social sites. Does that sound difficult? 2 minutes. I know it sounds, okay, so, and that's fair, that's totally fair. I'm telling you, this is easy, easy, easy. We're gonna make sure you have the right tools. You know what order. You're not gonna learn how to do it today, but Mitsubishi is working with me on putting together a literal workshop plan that will help you go through every single piece and get it set up properly. Okay. All right, analytics, you guys got that? How many of you do scheduling on paper? Any paper schedulers? Okay. They always do like this. I just do. So, okay, Google Calendar, it's free. You can create unlimited calendars. You could create one for every single service tech. You can see every calendar in the exact same place. And we're going to talk about how you can automate all your scheduling as well. The more operationally efficient you become, the more time you save for what I consider leverage or high leverage activities that generate cash, generate new business. The more inefficiencies you have, the less likely you are to have time to do things that generate new business. Does that make sense? All right. Okay. Next, 2, websites. How many of you are in a WordPress site? Okay? WordPress site. WordPress CMS. How many of you are in a template site? How many of you built your site from one of my triple Fs? Friends, family, or fools? So, all right, you guys, this is what to avoid. This is critical. Your website, and everybody wants me to talk about social media. I'm fine with social media. You don't own social media. Social media is temporary. Is it important? Absolutely. Is this more important? Absolutely. This is the only thing you own. This is an asset to your business. It's got to be done right. Here's some challenges. You have someone that was in the HVAC industry all of a sudden get relatively good online and they decide they want to open up a website company for HVAC people. Okay, if somebody is a specialist in only your industry, run. What do they need to be a specialist in? Technology, websites, Google Webmaster Tools. That is hard enough versus me having to learn what SARE is. I'm trying. Okay, is it SARE? Sorry.
Here.
Okay, I'm working on it. Okay, but I do know how to position it on a site. Other things to stay away from. People that build websites in Dreamweaver, Front Page, GoDaddy Websites Tonight, Intuit's Site Builder, Yahoo Site Builder. Those are all editors, template editors, that create tables. Tables are invisible to Google. Google can't crawl tabular data. Too much information, just stay away from those things, okay? WordPress is the largest content management system on the planet. Biggest CMS, the most updated, the most current, comes with some issues because it's so powerful and people know that, preferably hackers. However, the benefits outweigh the drawbacks hands down. It also gives you the ability for you to have a relationship with that site, for you to add blog content, you to add pages, you to make changes, you to add video. It also allows you to automate the distribution of content from your site to social sites. Would that help you with social media? Every time I get asked, come in and train them on social media, train them on social media, train them on social media, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I refuse to do that. Because if you don't have your home set up properly, why am I going to teach you how to go play on Facebook? They're just not going to do that. It doesn't make sense. Your website is the most powerful asset that you have. It should be. It positions you in Google. It positions you in Google Images. It positions you in Google Videos. Where are 99% of the world search is done? How do people buy? Where should you be? Fantastic. All right. Websites too. Also, real quick before we go. This says responsive. Did you get a responsive thing? Do you know? Okay. I need to write. We're going to look at it. Okay. So, right now, a year ago, they used to make mobile websites. You guys remember that? Okay. And you had to buy a website, then you had to buy a mobile website? Okay, fantastic. But I know I really want to look. Okay, so, secondly, 6 months ago, HTML5 was a big deal in order for it to function on mobile sites. Now, a responsive website is critical. All of you guys have your mobile app or your tablets, iPads? Okay, I'm an Android user, so all of you have your iPad users, or your iPads. When you go to a website, technically what should happen is your website should reconfigure itself. So if it's wide and you open it up on a small device, the right side should float under the left side. And it should, so that it maintains aspect ratio. So if I'm looking at it while I'm at a parking or at a stoplight on my phone, it's easy for me to be able to see. It doesn't shrink the content down to where you're doing like this, okay? It's got to resize itself. When Google says this is a requirement, that's a requirement. You're getting evaluated with all the decisions you make on your website. Your URL, www.blank.com, is a very, very important asset to protect. When you go throw a junky website up on there, it's diminishing the power of that URL. It's actually bad for your domain. When you meet Google's requirements and you meet them where they are, now you're going to have some power. All right. Shoot. Next, content. We've talked about this. Content. Mitsubishi is going to provide content. They already do. You guys developing content. Think about content as not a chore, but it's your voice. It's your voice. I have so many videos out there online. So many videos. I don't need salespeople. Never will need salespeople. Who's the best salesperson in my company? Who do you think? Absolutely. I totally heads down to your customers, but they're close. I'm kidding. They are. Customers are next. So many of the videos, as you can see there, is myself or Casey with the client. And we're interviewing them, we talk to them and so forth. Absolutely. Content gives you the ability to be with potential prospects while you go do something else. I don't know about you, but we had this conversation last night. Our goal is not to work, right? I don't have an interest in having a business that demands me to work. I don't. That's not, what do you want to do with yours? Same thing. We talked about, at some point you get that business, all the residuals, you get service agreements, you put them in place, your revenue is based on residual income that comes in on a monthly subscription. Is that a good business model? If you have a bad month, will the monthly residual help? Yes. Should you absolutely be looking at having a monthly residual to cover your operational expenses and your payroll? Yes. Should that be a short-term goal? No, make it a short-term goal right now. That's to me, I would make it a short-term goal, not long-term. Long-term is it covers all my expenses and my payroll and plenty for me to be in Tahiti. That's my long-term goal, where I don't have to participate as much. My short-term goal is I am going to do everything that I can to get enough residual in this door to where if I have a bad month, there's a natural disaster, stuff happens, you know, I was thinking something else, okay? And no matter what happens, everybody's paid, all the bills are paid, and the company's fine. That has to be a priority. This is one way to do it. All right, content, critical. DNET TV, you guys, we're going to send you a link to DNET TV. I'll probably have you guys get on a webinar with Casey to learn more about it. You guys together, content collaboration, together you are more powerful than you are apart. And looking at this opportunity, when Mitsubishi brings all of you together and gives you an opportunity to network with other contractors from around the country and other cities and service areas that you don't provide, is this important? So, Doug, my friend here, we're sitting at the table, I told him about my little R2D2 units in my house. Next thing I know, at 12:30 at night, I get a text from him with a referral to somebody in Plano that he trusts, and I feel so much better now. So, that's how that works though. You guys offline, you guys connecting and referring business to each other, is that important? Online, it's even more important. Let's say there's two of you. One of you, you're on the island and it goes like this, you're on Long Island. Okay. All right, where are you located? Where? Connecticut. Would it be beneficial for you two to know each other and refer business? So if you guys got on a Google Hangout like that and you did a quick interview, you introduced him to your network, he introduced you to his network, and you guys throw that up on your website, throw that up on a blog, and you make that referral and you optimize it for your company name in your city, his company name in his city. Will that work for you forever? You're creating a permanent sales force for your organization. Content is king. You guys should be working together and holding each other accountable. Is this helpful? Are you freaking out? Okay, don't freak out again. All right, next. So you guys, this is in order. This is in order. So if we wind up on a slide where you're doing something, but you don't have slide 1 and slide 2, or step 1 and step 2, and this roadmap taken care of, it's time to pull back and start looking at how do I get back in order? How do I get back on track? All right, next, search engine optimization. You guys, I hope this thing doesn't start crackling. Test. Okay. You guys familiar with the difference between SEO, organic placement, and pay-per-click? Or ads? Okay, I have some yeses, some nos. Pay-per-click, organic. 90% plus, and it's just my random quote. The majority of people search here. How many of you, when you go to Google and you type in a search, you're going to click down here, you don't click on the ads on the right? Raise your hand and look around. Fantastic. How many of you have purchased pay-per-click ads? All right, how many, so we'll ask again, how many of you, so if you don't own your organic placement, pay-per-click is probably not the right thing to do. And I'm going to say it's not the right thing to do, and I think it's item number 12 on our roadmap. This is first. Once you obtain first page placement for your primary phrases for your geographic location, and you're on that front page of Google, then it makes sense to start broadening out and opening up more real estate. Pay-per-click makes sense. We talked about retargeting and other things. Then, but in the right order. If your website organically doesn't rank or doesn't place, don't worry about pay-per-click. Not yet. If you have a website that's a template, but you're paying for SEO, which I unfortunately talked to about 30 people that had websites that were uncrawlable by Google, total trash, and they're paying companies in excess of $1,500 a month for SEO. The last 30 days has been incredibly difficult going through these conversations and seeing your guys' industry, from what I can tell, is heavily targeted by offshore SEO companies. How many of you get phone calls or solicitations from them? Okay, so you want a response for an SEO company that does a cold call on you? If you're an SEO company and you're cold calling me, what are you doing on SEO? If they're an SEO company, they should be generating their leads from their SEO work on their own site, not cold calls. Right? Does that help? Okay. All right. So Google cares about 3 things. Very, very, very important. These 3 things, write them down. First one, are you relevant? Are you relevant? No, we're going to trouble slide. Okay, are you relevant? You guys have basically either a 5x5 or a 6x5 matrix on your websites. I'm going to get real nerdy for a minute, but this is really, really, really important. When I go to your website and your website says our services, and then it opens up a page, and it bullet points each one of the things that you do. And on the same page, you put heating, furnace, air conditioning, air quality, and you put them all on the same page. I want you to think about Google like a giant filing system. How many of you have seen Bruce Almighty? Yes? Okay, remember when he goes into that warehouse and God's in there and God says everything, wow, everything you've ever thought, everything you've ever said, everything you've ever done is in this drawer. That's Google. Write this down. 1 page, 1 thought. Google is a brain-dead administrative assistant. At best. That is blind and deaf. It reads Braille. Okay? And I'm just trying to be real. Here are your matrices. 1 page per thought, which means on the services, propane, furnaces, heaters, air conditioners, air quality, sometimes drainage, and sometimes electrical. Am I close? Getting better. I couldn't do this last one. Okay, next. Okay. Here are the variations. Installation, repair, maintenance, service, FAQs, tips, so forth. Variations mean 1 page heating installation or furnace installation, furnace repair, furnace and so forth, okay? Air conditioning replacement, air conditioning maintenance, air conditioning service. Think about somebody, right? There's a woman or a man that has an issue. The issue is not my air conditioning, my furnace, and my water heater and my pump and everything is broken right now. Which that's what the websites look like today. They're calling because 1 thing doesn't work. So when they go to Google and they type that 1 thing in, that's when it comes up. That's what they're looking for. So I want you to have 1 page per service, per variation on your site. Does that make sense? All right. Next, current. If you're not blogging, you're not talking. If you're not talking, you're not selling. Same thing online. If I stop talking, you stop talking, we stop presenting. All a blog is an interactive way for you to be able to share your voice, your thoughts, your concerns, people's questions online. Next, trusted. The reason social media is so critical is because it is the one thing that provides trust, validation to your website. Real people clicking a button that says like, share, comment, retweet, LinkedIn, dig it, stumble it. I almost said Twitter. Not so much. All right, that's what social media does. But if you're working on getting in social media or getting your social media marketing plan moving, but your website is not properly positioned on Google, which one do you own? Which one do you own? Social media content, or do you own your website content? You own your website. So if you're over here playing with Facebook, actually, in addition to the scenario I talked about, them paying SEO companies for a website that cannot be SEO'd, in addition to that, I would probably say half the people I talk to who are paying a social media company to build their likes on Facebook. If you have 500 likes or 1,000 likes on Facebook, but you don't have any engagement on Facebook, that means you don't reach Facebook's edge rank requirements, which means you get 500 or 1,000 people to like your page one time, you're publishing out content, or you have your social media girl or person pushing content regularly, that content shows up nowhere. It doesn't show up in my feed. The only way you get your content from Facebook to show up in somebody's feed is you have to meet Facebook's edge rank requirements, which is a very careful balance between the number of followers, the amount of content, and the amount of interaction on those posts. So is it valuable to just be gaining a whole bunch of likes on Facebook and not actually having the content displayed to anyone else? You know, it's really up in the air. Hopefully when someone goes there, they might make an instant decision, say, great, you have 3,000 likes. But outside of that, retention, not going to happen. All right, let's get to mobile apps real quick. Go very, very fast. Nope. Okay, wait, go back. Social media, very quickly. Only 3 things you need to worry about: YouTube, Facebook, and blogs. You go to a social media class and they try and teach you anything else, run. It's not necessary. The likelihood, and you can complete this evaluation, the likelihood of you being in a position where you should be on all the other social media sites right now is slim to none. You got to be doing a lot of things right before you get into all of those. The only way that's going to be important is if you have a reputation management issue. If you have negative comments, negative reviews, and so forth, that's a whole separate marketing plan than strictly social media, all right? Mobile. You guys, this is very important, and then we're going to wrap up. I know I'm running a little bit late, but you have new client acquisition, Google, YouTube, video. You have existing customer, I'm talking straight to you, you have existing customer retention and reactivation and referral generation. Write those 3 things down. Retention, reactivation, and referral generation. A mobile app is the fastest way to be able to do that. You put a mobile app in your client's hands to be able to get quick service, to be able to request an appointment, schedule an appointment, get notifications of appointment reminders, tell them when their services are due, remind them to change. I am a moron about changing air filters. That's just an issue. I ruin air conditioners intentionally because it's not in my wheelhouse.
Now we know how to sound software.
You are 100%. We can only be good at so many things, okay? All right, you guys, so for a mobile app, imagine getting a mobile app into every single one of your customers' hands and you having the ability instantaneously to be able to send them a text. And it doesn't always, not always sales. It can be Merry Christmas from your HVAC guy. It can be Happy New Year. It can be, hey, don't forget to change your filters. Hey, winter's coming. Don't forget to prep your pipes. We're acting like I know. Prep your pipes. Would you ever say that? Okay, so, all right. I don't know. I got a realtor sent me something that said, I think, prep your pipes. All right. So, you guys, this is easy, inexpensive, fast to get up and running, permanent. When you have a client, your goal needs to be keep your client off of Google. Keep them off of Google. What you don't want to have is you go do a service for somebody thing you know, they're over on Google trying to remember who you are, and they're presented with 4 other options. You want to download the app, it's on your mobile phone, no different than paying your bill or putting money in your kid's lunch account or listening to music or whatever they already do. They click the app, they get what they want. They click the app, they get what they want. Keep existing customers off of Google. Even better, how many of you are in a networking event or a networking group? Get your networking group to all go in and pay for your mobile app for you, and everybody offer an X% discount or X% gift card. Smart? Then you get 20 people handing out your mobile app to all of their networks. Yes? Is this enough information to at least keep you busy for a minute? You guys, there is, I want to give you 1 second to fill this out. This is very important. I told you we do a 1-hour consultation, so grab this form right here, and I want you to fill in your information. There is 12 steps. We got through 4. Sorry. Okay. There are 12 steps in somebody's marketing. Whatever you think is most important or that you want us to evaluate, please check those out. The people that have attended the 1-hour consultations with us so far, they've been absolutely blown away. They leave with a plan. They came back, they brought their marketing people, and we've been able to have some interesting conversations with their marketing people, help give them a little bit more clarity, as well as we've been helping to help them to be able to figure out what kind of questions should they ask. How do they evaluate service providers? What is their current performance? Are they currently measuring where they're at and so forth? Does all of this stuff work for your company? This is, I mean, I had the best conversation with you.
Who's next to that last challenge?
I sat with Doug last night and had a great conversation with you guys as well.
But I came away from that feeling like I got something for it. I
It-
thought I was doing pretty well.
You are doing incredibly well. But we came out of there with hardcore, right now, very inexpensive, very powerful marketing ideas for your next step. And he's got a lot going on. He's doing the right things, great business, great marketing plan. Everything digitally is got in place. We just have a couple missing components that are easy. You guys, is this helpful? Yes, absolutely, on Great Google. Look at your site. I have cards as well, so I think Miss Kathy Marshall has cards. I will tell you this, Jane Sheets is our mobile app developer. Kathy Marshall is here. She's taking pictures. She's doing video. Stop, get a picture with me. I'd love it. I post all of them on my Facebook, and right now, after you finish these forms real quick, bring your form up here, come up front. We're going to take one group picture like I did at the last event, and then you're off to your next class.